So are you going to go back and listen to what we're doing right now so you know where the volume is? And
Yes. So
right.
let's stop talking right now so I can do that. Got it?
Wow. Don't limit me. So recap of summer goals from our last episode.
Yeah.
Last time we were talking about how we are going to go camping and our differences between our levels of comfort. So we didn't make any changes at that point. So maybe you can explain what we did in order to come to a middle ground in that disagreement.
Well, we bought another trailer. So now we have 2 trailers. So yeah, I'm not sure what our plan really was with that. So, but we might get rid of the other one. And anyway, yeah. So we bought a travel trailer in Geneva on the Lake, and it's actually stationary. So it fits my needs that I don't have to break this thing down. I can just go and we do our thing, and that's the right way to go for me. And you still have the ability to have your little camping time and all of
I'm
that.
laughing because I'm picturing a couple of our friends who know me really well who are not shocked by the statement that we were in conflict about camping and now we have 2. So I'm picturing our friends right now and they're, oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like, so I listened to the last episode or whatever, we did that with the summer goals, and like we didn't do any of it. I didn't do any of it. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not juicing. I'm not doing a lot. You've done a lot. I guess we could talk more about your.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of typical. We talk more about your stuff than my stuff, but whatever. Wow. I'm kind of used to that.
Yeah. Okay.
You're much more exciting. Like this whole endeavor, like since you kind of got involved, kind of took off. It wasn't going anywhere. So now we have a Facebook group and we got people like waiting for our episodes.
Yeah.
That's weird. There's like too much pressure now for me though. I'm honest.
I love that you look at me and instead of seeing like the ADHD part, you see adventurous. I love that about you.
Yeah. Sometimes it's scary, but I do like it. It keeps me, because otherwise I don't think we'd ever leave the house.
Ladies, look, when I was at my heaviest, about to pop out my 3rd baby,
She was hot.
he was looking at like, that's love. That's love right there. That's love, baby.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So summer goals, talk to me about so you've done a ton of stuff. Like you've radically done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So where are you gonna start to try to recap back on where we're at with this? I mean, the summer's not over.
So the result of it was, I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to figure out how to be healthy. And so I had to rethink everything I can think about when it comes to starting goals because nothing has worked. So I had to trash everything, start over with another kind of mentality that I'm going to make mistakes. What I know, I think I know, I probably don't know. And so just go slow. You can't because I am a 0 to 60 kind of person or however you want to say it. 60 is not very fast. That was really, I'm not that boring. I'm like a 0 to 100.
You're more like I go 30, then I go 70, then I back down to 20, and then I jump back up to 80.
I'm so much fun now.
And then you stop.
You know what? My friends love me, right, Sherelle? My friends love me.
Yeah,
so.
your friends love you. I love you.
I don't care about
love
other
you.
people. No, really, I do.
All
but
right.
so,
Yep, missed it.
Yeah.
You're talking about your goals.
My goals.
You trashed everything. You started over.
Yeah, and so this time I got rid of everything, and kind of mentally said to myself, okay, this is your resetting point. This is the point where everything that you thought you knew, you're going to admit that you probably don't know, and you're going to kind of relearn things that just don't work for you. And health is one of them. It just didn't work. So, I started with putting a lot of prayer and meditation into just moving. And so if I'm walking, I'm getting up in the morning and I have some energy and I want to walk. I'll turn on a scripture or worship music or talk to a friend. And that's what I'm doing on my walk. And it started off as oh, I don't want to do this. But then it became the first time I really let go of every thought swirling around in my head. I really let it go. and I put on some headphones and I went for the walk, for that walk. It was so good. It felt good. And I wanted to do it the next day and the next day. But there's so much stronghold in just letting those swirling thoughts go when you're a person that lives with either anxiety or ADHD where you can't catch your thoughts.
So did you like try to just, because again, I felt like you took things somewhat in small increments. Like you started with one thing, then you added another thing instead of going, because like typically what you would do is you would change like 50 things.
Right.
And then you would get discouraged and then you would just stop.
For sure.
So
Because who can do that?
I felt like, I mean, between the eating and the other stuff that you were doing and the stuff that you're trying to continue to do, I mean, it's definitely made a difference. You have a lot more energy in what you're doing, but at the same time, it's like you're still trying to be iterative in your approach. And then you're finding, have you found some things that just don't work and you've eliminated?
Well, honestly, because it's summer and I'm just like, I'm going to do what I like. I just gave myself the freedom to just find things that I think I want to try. And either I'm going to decide that I like it or I don't like it. I don't like rock climbing. I don't like going with the kids, taking them to a play place or whatever and climbing rocks. I know I don't like rock climbing, but I liked getting up for those nice walks in the morning before the kids and everyone got up and walking down to the lake. And then I realized, and we can kind of tell our experience that I like getting up in the morning and putting on worship music and doing stretching. And I don't want to say yoga because I am an expert in nothing and I don't know yoga and I don't care to know yoga. I care to know how to be safe when I'm stretching. So, I put on worship music and for a good 45 minutes, I just stretch and do some core strength things. And before I know it, like I've enjoyed the experience of the worship and everything else didn't seem to be such a chore.
Right. I mean, I enjoyed it the one time I tried it.
Yeah. So I got him to do it with me, guys. We picked up some towels and we went I put them right on the lakefront, had him pick some worship music and had him do some stretching with me. And to me, it might not have been your thing, but as I'm listening to worship music and I open my eyes for a minute and I see nothing but water, I can't wait to get back up there.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know, for me, it's like one of the things I was trying to focus on was this ability to, I mean, some of it may help with doing activities like that, but the idea that I need to reduce stress, and that hasn't really happened. I think for me, it's been tough. And a lot of this, I mean, there's just responsibilities and projects. And there goes our Alexa device. Alexa, stop music. I can probably edit that out.
Yeah.
Or not. For some reason, we have an alarm that goes off.
It's a 10 o'clock everyday alarm that comes off, and it is Torrin Wells singing Pray.
Pray. Oh, that's right, because we put an alarm that says at 10 o'clock, let's pray.
And now Torrin Wells comes on and sings Pray, and it'll loop over and over. But I like it because there have been times literally where I've stopped, heard Torrin Wells come on and be like, I'm praying about this worry I have on my mind right now. And it's been really cool. So I leave it there for that purpose because we all need to remember to pray.
Right. Totally random thought, but it's kind of why I keep my truck telling me how fast I'm going. It reminds me to slow down.
Right.
So that's just reminding you to pray.
Yeah.
So, but back to for me, because I'm sure we'll talk more about you, but I think for me, yeah, I know, right? I think for me, the struggle right now is just, I was talking to Joe about it as well. And it's somehow I've got to prioritize better and create some margin. It's like, somebody said to me this past week, and I'm still trying to deal with that statement, but they made the statement that I overpromise and underdeliver. And I really got caught up in that. And I think really what it is sometimes I underestimate. And that's the thought that I keep coming back to, because I'm going to deal with probably that statement somewhat, but I think I underestimate the amount of time that things take. And because I can do, especially like at work, I can do a lot of different things. And so I don't really sit back and go, okay, here's all of these activities, all of these things that need to get done. I know how to do them. So therefore I think I can do them all. But when you add them all up and you think about, okay, what's really involved? And then, like I said, I think I tend to underestimate not only what I physically can do mentally or physically, but then what others that I'm dependent upon can do.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of my, like I look at, I'm teaching a Bible lesson and I think, oh, well, I know the Bible. I'm sure, I've got a book to follow. I've got questions to follow. I'm sure I can knock this off and, I can be ready. And for an hour's lesson, it shouldn't take me more than an hour to put together. But the reality is that in order to facilitate the conversation and do all the other stuff, it takes 3 or 4 hours to put together. So I think for me, getting to a sense where I'm more realistic about what I can do, and then the stuff that I honestly, that falls through, then not worrying about it, because I tend to want to do everything.
Maybe you can teach me what you're learning through this, because it's something that I need to get a good grasp on too. Like my time versus the reality, my time of what I want to do versus the reality. So if you could share with me what you learn in this, because I could. Well,
and I think, and I mean, it's a daily process at times. I think, again, more and more, I think, and we're caught up in this, and this is kind of deviating, I guess, from summer goals, but kind of fits into it, is I think what I'm finding out is my ability to multitask is, I mean, everybody says they can multitask. Everybody says, oh yeah, I can do 14 things at once. The reality is you can't. I mean, you can organize yourself and you can put yourself so that you can get 14 things done. But what I find is trying to do 14 things and have 2 or 3 of them going at once, or jumping between activities. Right. You kind of do all 3 of them at like a 60 to 70%. And so you never get really good at the one. And so what I've tried to do, for example, when I'm working on, I had one yesterday where somebody had asked for they had a SharePoint site that they wanted to build out. And then another request came in for some other thing that was really the same thing. And so rather than sending out all these emails and trying to get all this stuff done, I sat back and it probably took me 45 minutes of just concentrated, okay, we're going to put a project together. Here are the, and I kind of laid it all out first and said, okay, I'm going to assign it to this person. This is what they're going to do. And, and then I described exactly what I wanted to have happen, but I didn't detail how to do it. And then I simply, I know. Okay. Right. But you asked, what do you have to do? I think sometimes we have to take a step back, and rather than trying to solve a problem in the moment, take a step back and say, what is the plan to solve it? And because I think too many times we see so many.
Can you write one of those for me?
Can I write one of those? What?
A plan. Can you do that? Can you write plans for people?
I can write plans for people. I'm very good at writing plans for people. The problem is again, I think it's taking the step back. I think at times we get caught up in trying to do too many things at once, and we don't actually think about the process of how to get things done. We just do them. We're going to be Truman in our house. We're going to set up cameras and mics, and we're going to become a reality show.
So we need to go back to the topic of summer goals and updates.
All right, summer goals. We deviated. But, if you listen to our other friends over at that other podcast, should we mention them? Give them a little love.
Sure.
Desperate Pastor Podcast. No, they're good guys.
Okay.
I actually you should listen to the last one. They talked about the purity culture.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to go over there and do something with them, but I don't know. They have one of the pastors, Mike, over there. I think he's a little intimidating, so I'm not sure I can hang with him.
You're intimidated by it?
Well, he's very demonstrative. Look, Mike, on the mic.
Look, Mike, look. I know you don't know Larry's wife, but
you just don't know. Now if they listen, they won't listen to this because they actually have merchandise. They have all kinds of stuff now. We're like low key. So anyway, summer goals. we're never going to get back on topic. Plus, we can't go for more than, I don't know. You did a study on this, so you said, what, 20, 30 minutes? So if the people are listening right now, they should know that,
I think we got a lot of editing to do.
Yeah, we got a lot of editing to get it already back down.
Can we work on the editing together?
Well, yeah, we usually do.
Okay.
All right. So, summer goals.
So, I think like you said, your summer goal was the whole figuring out. We had a conversation about it being about your time management.
Right.
But time management and really efficiency would be.
Right.
So, you're learning a lot about time management and efficiency, or you're
Right.
through it. And that's a great topic for anyone. And I want to, as a mom / full-time teacher, that's a lesson I need to learn.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
So yeah, and then coming up in the next couple weeks sometime, we are going out to Texas.
Yes. That's actually been not a summer goal, but a summer, I don't know what, something to look forward to.
Been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So our oldest, our girl, is a mama, and I'm not sure she wants me to share the name, so I'm not doing that right now. But and we have our first granddaughter, so she is turning 1 pretty soon, and so I'm being vague because I don't like to give dates of when we're here or there or anywhere.
Right.
So but yeah, she's having her first birthday party, and I couldn't be more excited. Like I am very excited. I probably was going to phrase that wrong. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And our daughter's excited, and her mom's excited, and the whole family's excited.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy. It's like, I don't know. It's hard for me still. To imagine that I have a granddaughter and that my first daughter has a kid. It's funny because people talk about it all the time, and I'm just like, it's normal. It feels right, but it's still sometimes a little surreal that it's there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And she walked for the first time
I saw
yesterday.
that.
She took a little step on Grandpa's birthday.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, that was her birthday present to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to the flight. I'll be honest. I'm a little intimidated by.
So we can't talk about the flight.
Yeah.
Or my anxiety will start days before it needs to.
Let's just not. But I don't travel well, so.
You travel well. You just don't travel well with us. So it's not
Yes.
so much the plane.
It's just
everything that goes into traveling
like
with
even
family.
even this last trip I took, it's gotten better. But it's not as chaotic as it used to be. Like the whole getting through security and all of that. It's actually not that bad, but it's just like I see families traveling.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially when they have like kids or they have multiple kids, and then you got the teenager that's not paying attention, and then people are trying to get through, and because it's just a very tense situation. So I don't know. It'll be fine. I don't know if I'll. We'll see if I'm willing to give a recommendation to the airline after this. So flying a different airline. So we'll see how this works. But anyway.
So I have these 2 amazing dresses to take. My friend Latoya White has her brand Toy, and she wonderfully designed 2 dresses, one for our granddaughter's first birthday pictures and one for our daughter, who is 9, a matching tutu that goes with it. And I cannot wait to show her designs off to everyone. So we'll be carrying this along with us on the plane because I'm very careful with them.
Yeah, we're going to have to, we'll get that all sorted out. So what else do we have? We have, I think so we've got, I wouldn't say, we're past the midway point summer-wise. So I know, right? For you. See, summer doesn't mean, the only thing summer means for me, though, is like I can get more work done, which is kind of sad.
Well, just because it's going to be busy. So that's why I'm trying to enjoy every single second of summer, and that's impossible. So, because school year is crazy busy.
Right.
So we'll see how much carrying those health goals over to the school year is. It's going to be challenging.
Right.
I can do it.
Right. Well, now you've kind of, with with the new Facebook group and all the other stuff that we're trying to do. I mean, it's hard to keep this kind of stuff up. Like I was listening to our friends, and they were talking about. I mean, they're up to I think 33 episodes, but they have a like scheduled every week. So and we're not going to be that. So I mean,
no, I can't. No,
we're like,
I'm
okay,
so random.
let's. Well, I mean, the nice thing is that, you know, I think for us, just our whole intent was not to create some sort of big following or do anything like this. Our intent really is just to kind of share our lives. Yeah. And I think for me, the interesting thing is because someone had asked me about it, and they're like, well, why are you doing this? And I think for me, being able to go back and listen to kind of where we were at this moment,
right.
You know, it's kind of like I don't really do well at journaling.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like when, you know, you get the memories from Facebook, and you post something you think is really cool or whatever, and then to be able to go back and look at it. So for me, I think that's sort of the intent. So anybody that would be listening to this, know that this is probably going to be the most random podcast you'll ever listen to, because we're just two normal people that pretty much are just recording our Saturday morning conversations that we just have on the weekly basis.
So I have a whole different intent, and I guess I just realized that our intents are very different. Yeah,
you're you're like setting up a whole brand. And
no, like my intent is, I've become more bold. I think this summer with sharing the gospel to people who I meet randomly and praying for people and trying to be a compass to God. That it's totally out of my comfort zone, but I wanted to give them something to find if they wanted more information.
Right.
So for me, it's, you know,
well, I think
I'm hoping that the lady that I met who was protesting in front of the abortion clinic, I hope she's listening, because I see you and I met you, and I'm really glad that we got to talk. And I hope that, you know, the person that I was praying for in the middle of the gas station, like, you know, I hope you're listening, because it was great.
It's funny because when I thought about this, we were talking about this during COVID, right? We were just sort of talking, and even like the name. So if you think about it, Living Interestingly, this was something, if you really look at its sort of inception, it started with me wanting to blog, and there's actually, it's still out there. There's a WordPress blog if you go look for it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it was just sort of these random thoughts and stories. Yeah, when we were in Belgium. Yeah. And I've always thought to go back to that, but it's like the effort of writing and doing all that. Yeah. So that's where all this came. So the fact that God can use it in different ways for me versus you, and then maybe if people start to listen and blah, 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 it all takes off, and you know.
So do you see it as we're cataloging where we are in life so we can go back and kind of remember?
I think for me, that's my only intent. I mean, if it becomes something different, then great. I think when I listen to other podcasts, or I, you know, whether they're a YouTube channel or an actual podcast, I'm, you know, it was funny because I started, before I started all this, I was listening to all these things. And they're like, well, you got to have this focus. You got to have a topic. You got to have this. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to talk. Like, I want to talk about life. And so even if you look at the byline, stories, thoughts, and life, it's kind of wherever we're at. So if you're looking at it as a standpoint of being able to, you know, kind of share the gospel, or really kind of say where we're at, I'm cool with that. I think that's awesome. But I also think if I want to have an episode where I talk about what I'm doing on worship, or, you know, because like one of the things that I feel passionate about, and as I get older, is how do we sort of leave those legacy things, you know, turn 51, and I'm like, what are those things that I can leave for others, whether it be my children or for others that might either listen to or read and be like, oh, okay, I get a little bit of their life, but it's something they could actually learn from it. So
I'm just like, I got the biggest smile on my face, because I think we must have had side conversations, because we're both mindset on legacy right now.
Right.
That's funny. So in saying that, can I catalog when you were gone? My dad turned would have turned 71 on July 13th. So I know, like some of you saw on Facebook that I put, today's the day we take back our legacy. And I wanted to explain what that meant, what happened there. So my dad would have turned 71. And let me be real, he was a hot mess. I'm not using words that I would normally use when it's just me and my husband. But he was a hot mess. And something that God's been working on me with, especially when I'm going on my walks and I just let go and listen to him. One of the things he's been working with me is honoring your parents. And how do you honor someone who has really contributed to a lot of the scars in your life, mentally, physically, like scars? How do you honor that, God? And that was my question. How can I know how I can honor my mom. She's amazing. She got me through something. Like, there's so much to honor there. How do I honor him?
Right.
That's tough.
Right.
So I felt like he was working on me, and he would just show me things, and he's gone now, so he's passed, but the honoring is looking at the good things he had good in him. He did some good things. He loved Jesus. His perception of who Jesus is in his life was perverted very young, and through abuse and other things got twisted, I think. But I know he loved Jesus and he loved God. And he was broken, and things that I can probably never know or understand. God was showing me that there are still good things that he passed to me. And, even if it's the way I look, we all have something we can thank for our lives, that's honoring our parents, even if we just thank them that we're here. But for me, God allowed me to see some more good things about my dad.
Good. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's one of those things that I think we, different seasons and moments where God shows us that there was more to the story. Like we talk about, we were talking about, I know when my mom's birthday was a couple months ago, and we were looking at pictures, and you were making a point that you really want to make sure that Avery knows where her namesake is. And it's tough because I think there's always more to the story, and especially as children to your parents. And if we could tell anything to, young people or even older people to your parents, there's more to the story. You don't realize what was all going on with your parents when they were raising you. I think, hopefully as we're getting older and our kids get older, we'll have those conversations, like, so that they understand, like, it wasn't that, even in situations where we may have this perception that it was a bad situation, knowing that there's another part of the story. And maybe so
what I did was, and I don't think I told you about this. So this is, you were in OA. So what I did with it is, and I should say what we did with it is, I called up my brother, who we're not really that close. I mean, it's not like we do this every year, but I called up my brother, and his children, and I had my children with me, minus my adult children who were not able to be there. Andrew was at camp, and so I called them up and I said, "Hey, meet me here today at this date." And I went and got some cupcakes. Those Bundt cupcakes. Oh my goodness, those things are amazing. If you live in Stowe and you've ever been to that Bundt, okay. Anyway, so I got the really good cupcakes.
They're not paying for us all these endorsements we keep giving people. So let's not.
I'm not really trying to endorse. But
now,
anyway.
If you want to endorse us and you want us to talk about you in the podcast,
so I got the really good cupcakes, and I had made a picnic for my children, and I drove them to a cemetery. So my dad doesn't have a resting place. I don't know where anything was spread, or we weren't told, and we weren't in the loop of what happened to my dad after he passed. So we don't know anything. But God told me it didn't matter. Let the dead bury the dead. Like that's not his ashes. His body is not what I should be seeking. And so what I did was I had my brother and his kids meet me. Sorry.
It's all good.
And a memorial that he had put up.
That your brother put up?
My dad.
Or your dad put up. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little emotional. So he put up a memorial. He worked with a team of the Knights of Columbus that put up a memorial for the unborn.
Okay.
And so that's where they met me. And I told them all today, July 13th, 1950 was probably the most, he's heard over and over, it was the most unlucky day of the year. And unfortunately, he lived into that legacy.
Right.
But I'm taking it back because it's my legacy. It's their legacy. It's my nephew, my nieces, my children's legacy, my brother's legacy. And I'm taking it back. In Jesus' name, I'm taking it back. Because God can restore all things. And the legacy we're leaving behind is the good that he did. And that's what we're going to take with us as we raise our own kids. We're not taking the bad, we're leaving it. And we're taking the good. And those are the legacies we're going to continue to work to pull down from generation to generation and leave the bad buried.
Wow.
So that was the day that we took back July 13th. And I want to use that day, the most unlucky day of the year, my dad's birthday, to be a day that reminds me that I'm taking it back. It was good.
That sounds like a good summer goal. Achieved.
Achieved. Check.
Achieved. Check. Well, we're going to have to actually get our day started at some point.
I need more coffee.
I know.
And your guy was supposed to be here 20 minutes ago.
I know. I'm going to have to let that. Yeah. I wish I could do more stuff like on my own, but I'm not very good at DIY fix. I really can't do that.
You are not. I'm glad that no one's here most of the time when you're doing DIY projects.
Oh my goodness.
Because they'd be like, "That's the worship leader." What? That's the worship leader.
He can't see.
Mom!
What is he doing? Yeah, I know.
He said
the hard part. You don't understand though. As a man though, that's something that you really. I don't know. That there could be a whole topic around that because you. Like as you get older and as men, it's like you want to feel like you can do stuff. And I used to honestly, like ask my younger, like I've been pretty good at doing things like around the house, fixing stuff. I mean,
look, Jake and Ellie might say yeah, but by the time you got down to Caleb and Avery, not so much.
Oh yeah, Caleb and Avery, they're like, yeah, just hire somebody. Just hire somebody.
Right.
You can't do this. But it's like it's hard because you reach a point, especially if it's not something you do all the time. It's like you reach a point you just can't. But anyway, yeah, there's a whole topic around there we don't need to go into. So we're probably at enough time to kind of wrap this up. So you've done a lot to kind of put this out there.
Well, so I got to go check on him.
And we've got a lot going on. It would be interesting though. So I know we're gonna. I think you're actually trying to publicize this now. So we're gonna probably post links and all that. Is that what you're thinking you're gonna do? All right.
You're the tech person.
I'm the tech person, but I'm not the market. Like I don't like marketing, branding myself, and all that.
Oh, pastor's wife. That's what pastor's wife, because she'll know. She's it.
Yeah.
She'll tell you what to do, right, Kelly?
Yeah. Anyway, so we've given enough shout outs to folks, so I think we're in good shape. So. I think that's a wrap because I've got to now sit here and try to edit out any breathes and crazy noises. And
maybe a little bit of my crying and sniffling.
No, we're going to leave all that in.
No.
Yeah, we're just going to.
I'm glad it's not videotaped.
Yeah. Well, that's next. We're going to see. We have a YouTube channel.
No.
We got to get a video.
Nope.
At some point, you're going to want to.
No.
Because like people really need to see us.
No one, trust me, people don't want a video of this. It's more fun just to listen to.
Maybe. But maybe we'll have to come up with some better graphics for part of the video. I don't know. That's too much work. See, this is why I want to do this because there's not a lot of work.
That's fun stuff though. That's stuff that you do when you're sitting there because like you're waiting for your kids' football practice to be over. That's fun stuff.
Yeah. All right. So are we good?
Yeah.
Are we good for the day? Because we got a lot to do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna wrap this up.
All right. Any more coffee?
Yeah. Let's get some more coffee.